Bearcat Bounce Podcast, back at it again. Monday night. We're bringing you 2 shows in 6 days. We're bringing you a fantastic look into another Monday night BBP. That means it's me, Brent Young, joined by 2 great guys. That's Aaron Smith and that's Chad Brindle. They travel far, they travel wide, they come together on one screen every Monday night. Aaron, Chad, gentlemen, tell me, we're back on our normal time slot. How are we?
Good.
Yeah.
Recovering from the road.
Okay.
And the in-laws in town.
Ooh.
Over the weekend. So yeah. So we're hanging in there.
We're coming.
I had to cook for a party of like 15 yesterday. So that was a lot of fun.
What'd you go with?
Chicken, pork chops, homemade mac and cheese, some assorted vegetables, squash, zucchini, peppers, asparagus on the smoker, and potatoes.
Potatoes.
Pretty good.
Very good. Very good. Aaron, how are we?
We're coming down the home stretch, 2 more weeks before baby day. So,
oh, baby. Are you getting excited?
I'm stoked, man. I can't wait.
There you go. Crib all set up. You got all the fixings ready for when old baby pops out, or where are we at in that?
We're still getting everything ready.
What you need ready's ready. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a 4th member. Look at this familiar face down here. Well, somewhat familiar face if you've seen him in the last month or so, but none other than Big Game Boomer's 20th greatest strength coach in the country. Number 1 in my heart and the Bearcats' hearts, and rightfully number 1. That's Brady Collins. Big baby Brady, how are we?
Big baby Brady. What the? Doing good, boys. Doing real good. How's everybody?
I worry about him sometimes.
I know. He means well.
Try my hardest. Doing well, man. Doing well. Locked in, fully loaded. Happy to come off of a fantastic squat fest. Yet again, another successful squat fest. And you're on record saying this is the craziest one yet.
I think so.
I want you to expand upon that. Is it because Mike Myers is in the building, or was it kind of a little bit further beyond that? What kind of gave you the vibes that this year's squat fest was unlike the others?
I think it's just, the kids, they just look forward to it so much. And, it was on the board. They knew it was coming. We prepped for it. We planned for it. And, they were eager for it. It also symbolizes, kind of the end of a certain, phase of our program. And then they get a nice little break. And then they come back and, we start back up. But it's just every year it grows and grows. And, yeah, it grows from the number of lights or the crazy things that we have or, the amount of weight guys do or whatever, which it doesn't matter. But I think it's just because those kids they embrace that day. They love it. They get after it. And it just keeps getting better and better.
That was Aaron's 2nd squat fest that he's been to in back years. Chad, he's kind of become like the Garrett Campbell of squat fests. He has been to quite a few. My first, and I do want to tip my cap first off. Thanks for always inviting us to come and check it out. But man, the energy provided that you guys bring right from the get-go truly is evident. And I took to Twitter right away. I said, the stories about Squat Fest are true. This is unlike something that I could have imagined. What kind of goes in? Are the players that are the veterans, are they kind of ready for this moment? And do you kind of see that look of shock on the first-timers that are coming down and experience that for the first time?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Again, I think those kids have seen videos and pictures, and obviously the older guys prep them and try to warn them. But again, it's just about having fun, and it is. It's going to be hard. I think for the older guys, it's still hard, but it's not as hard because they learn to just embrace it. And it's really about getting those young guys that's their first real workout with the older guys. But it was really funny. Some of those guys came down like bat out of hell, jumping through people. Some guys came down kind of like, what in the world's going on? And, but yeah, no doubt it's always fun to to get it going. You know, sometimes I'm like, all right, well, we can do any type of warm up or do this or that. As we all know and have seen, nothing beats bringing out the rope. So that's how we like to start it off. And you know, had some new stuff I tried for the finishers this year, but kept it pretty simple because they were just working their asses off so well. And it's a great day.
What was your favorite new addition that you had this year?
Probably when we enclosed the ground and pound area. So I originally wanted like real fencing. Like I wanted like Clifton style, you know,
Barbed wire, Clifton style.
I wanted, yeah. Well, it was funny. One of my interns was like, you know, putting some extra stuff on my racks, and they was putting some of that extra orange fencing, you know, soft fencing up on top of my racks. And he goes, Coach, next year this should be barbed wire. And I'm looking, I'm like, yes, it should, yes, absolutely. So, but it was just cool because, you know, again, with the neon lights and you got a neon fence, it really popped and made it really cool how there was just one way in, one way out. So guys are like, you know, sneaking through there. And so that was really cool. The push, pull, shrug, neck, you know, circuit that we did last year, it was a straight line. So we called it, you know, push, pull alley. Well, this year it was obviously in a circle. So that was the push, pull court. You know, I just wanted everybody to be able to see everybody and, you know, just make it weird. But it was. And then, you know, just those little things that we do, just add a little attention to detail because my mind's always kind of on it. That's when I was like, hey, let's get the king chair, whatever it is, bring that down here. Hey, I want all the trophies. I want the mannequins. Let's put those up. Let's get those lights. And then when you win, you get your picture taken with that. I mean, because I know the kids, they like that. You know, they want to get their picture taken after they whoop someone's butt in a competition, or they just want to get the post pictures. But and then obviously the shirts too. I mean, my assistant Jo, you know, he designs those shirts. He designs a lot of logos. He designs all of our off-season shirts. And Dalvin and EQ and them, they get it done. So that's always awesome to see too, because kids love wearing those. I mean, I would say probably half the team was still wearing them today for today's workout.
Nice. My favorite addition was the breakfast burritos along with the chicken sandwiches.
That's true. That was a very nice touch.
Yeah, last year was just the chicken sandwiches. So
that's a huge testament to Coach Russo, our sports nutritionist, because, you know, again, he's always taking what we've done and trying to take a step up and making things his own. And he's been doing a phenomenal job. And no doubt after two groups that day, those two burritos hit the spot.
Well, and the smoothies.
I didn't get a smoothie.
Well. You didn't? Oh.
No, I think you took the last one that I liked.
Low key, I did have a smoothie. But
you earned a smoothie that day.
All the Chick-fil-A's were gone, and I didn't have the heart to tell the guy, hey, can we grab one from the defense? Can we do that? So I said smoothie it is. We're having a liquid breakfast. How about that?
There you go.
So we went with it. But Brady, you mentioned the tug of war, the rope. What goes into picking those competitions? What is it kind of off the cuff? Is it something that you kind of premeditate? And then aside from that, my favorite part of it wasn't, yes, the competition was cool to see that, but my favorite part was when a name was called, someone else sprinted and immediately grabbed their buddy. They're right there, and they were ready to help him out as well. So kind of what goes into the picking of these mano-y-manos. And then aside from that, when did you first see someone else helping their buddy in the tug of war? Because, man, that was something special to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Everything's kind of set up. You know, certain things you want to put guys in certain situations to see how they respond. A lot of it is, determined by maybe someone had an issue one day and maybe they need to get a little love here. Or, you know, maybe some guys had a little beef one day and, you know, they're all good now, but, you know, we know the boys want to see it. Or maybe someone new to the program comes in and someone that's, you know, younger and ready to play as well and wants to beat him just to look good or something, you know. So you kind of set up some certain matchups, but you know, I don't need to see Dylan O'Quinn or Jabari Taylor on there because those guys, I know they're going to grind, and I've seen them rope fight us. I mean, it's about kind of mixing those young guys, those on the cusp guys that are, you know, about to, make a name for themselves or be one of those guys. Definitely get all those freshmen in there get them exposed to it. But that's just, when we call their name out, and, I would hope, Brent, that I call your name out, Chad's running over there and he's grabbing you, right? Because as you're pulling, he's got you, and a lot of that obviously is the better partner you have, mainly behind you, the better you can do, because you could be the strongest man in the world. That's fine. At some point, you're going to give like either in, or that other guy's just not going to, and you got to time up the way you pull, or you're just going to hold it. You're going to let the other guy die out. But it was fun. It got crazy. But those are always definitely premeditated.
That's awesome.
Thoughts?
Is it going to be who I think it is? There we go.
Look at the screen.
Remember I said you should have put for the hashtag.
Yeah.
What is it? I can imagine what it was. Part of your beautiful speech. But yeah, I mean, this is a nice look, Chad. A nice look at what the throne was. Now, Brady, was this something that you had?
Brady owes me a belt still. Actually.
It's true. It's true. We need to get.
He challenged me that I wouldn't make it every day to Higher Ground, and I was at Higher Ground every day that it was open, and he said he was going to get me a belt. I should have just took that one, but the guys were using it. So
yeah, that's become one of the biggest recruiting props, and I love that. We definitely need to get some new belts. And again, just like anything, you see a lot of programs, they got belts now. Well, that's cool. Ours is different. Ours is cool.
It's really cool. So is this part of your mindset going into it as well? Let's get this down here, because obviously you see, like you said, the recruits kind of sitting on it. We don't really see many of the current players sitting on it, or possibly maybe when they won the AAC championship last season. But I don't remember it outside of that. That was the first time I saw it in the midst of the team. Was that part of your genius, if you will?
Yeah, I just, again, you're always looking for, in the past we had the kind of like the media backdrop set up. Maybe mannequins on the side, and when they won maybe the belt or a chain or something, they'd get their picture taken. Again, and Jo referenced it that one day he was all on here. One of the greatest pictures I remember is when Jerome Ford won his, and he's got that beef stick in his mouth.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's just something. It's a nice little touch, and because I know. Probably in the heat of it, of all the rope fights, I don't think many people really went and got their picture. Some did, but definitely at the end, you saw a lot of guys doing it, and it was cool. I do always make kind of a little joke. I'm like, oh, it's funny. First people getting their picture with that are like the guys that just got here, or haven't played it down yet. But they earn the right to get their picture taken. They've been grinding. They're a part of this program.
But the difference is those guys are all familiar with it, because they had it during their recruiting visits.
That's true. It's
kind of like, hey, I remember that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's very true. Some of the older guys are probably like, what the hell is this? When we got our picture, it's just like on a stool.
Right.
So and there wasn't even an AAC championship trophy next to us. And now there's two.
No, it wasn't. Now there's two. About to be three.
There we go.
And then we'll see you later.
Thank God. So towards the end of the offense, there was a member of the New York Giants that trickled in, a member of the New York Jets who trickled in, member of the Indianapolis Colts who trickled in, and member of the Cleveland Browns who trickled in. And so what does it mean to have a Darian Beavers, a Sauce, a Jerome Ford, a Michael Young show up just for Squat Fest to you?
Oh, man. I mean, it means everything. And, again, the best thing is, what Coach says, you earn it, the C-Paul. You represent it, and then you carry it with you forever. Like, you own it. And, those guys come back all the time. And I know they just graduated. Now they're, in the league and going to their mini camps and all that stuff. And I should have done a better job of reaching out even more, because I did it in the past. I reached out to the alumni base, and I know a lot of former guys would love to come. So that's going to be like my new challenge next year is I want to create like a VIP area for all those former guys, whether they were with us, before us. Like, I want them to see how special this is and how, special these guys are. And I want them to be a part of that environment and feel a part of this team, because they are a part of it. If they wore that C-Paul, then they're just every bit of a part of it as the guys currently are. But it is really cool. I know it means a lot to the players. It means a lot to them too, because it was funny. Sauce and And Beavers were like, damn, man, this is a little better than last year. And I'm like, well, I told you every year it gets better and bigger. So, but it's awesome. It means a lot. Always love seeing those guys. And, I know there was a bunch a while ago, I texted all those guys and Dez couldn't make it. Kurt was trying to make it. AP was going to, but then he was out of town. I mean, it could have been a real VIP section, but like I said, bigger and better always.
Well, it'll be year one of the Big 12. That'll be the new the new wing.
Exactly.
The new wing. There we go.
So you mentioned some of those guys, and I think this gets us to probably the most important question of the summer. How have you felt that transition of leadership, that transition of power inside the locker room has gone as we get to the point of the end of summer workouts, getting into OTAs, and we're less than a month from being at Higher Ground?
Yeah, going to be here fast.
So how's the leadership? How have you felt the leadership is inside the team?
I mean, again, we're very blessed that if you really think about it, again, I've always said championship teams and just really great teams, you got to be strong up the middle, right? Well, what does that mean? Okay, well, on the inside, just starting offensive line, you got Renfro, you got Dio, even though he's a guard, tackle, whatever, he's an inside. That's in the middle. Then you go Jabari Taylor, whether he's outside, inside, doesn't matter. Wilson Huber, I mean, unreal. And then back end, guys like Hicks, Arquan Bush. I know that's not the middle, but just thinking that way, right? You got two quarterbacks that can do it. The running back room is fully loaded. Trey Tucker, unbelievable leader, just by his daily actions. We have a big saying of, do you want or need it? The kid needs everything. He's obsessed. And then you keep going strong up the middle, no doubt. Let's go even more wide, or not as wide, but I mean, Josh Wiley in the tight end room. Hello. So we're blessed with really great leaders of guys that, have been here for a while. They've been through, all the success. Some, experienced that first year, Wilson Huber, Jabari Taylor. And, I think the coolest thing, and Coach was saying it today, it's going to be like, just our big thing that I'm really going to push even more. And I have been doing it. I mean, you heard my Squad Fest talks about what people might say or think. And trust me, we love all that. Last year, everybody, yeah, you're going to be a top team. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. This year, who knows? They're still good. Okay, yeah. Well, let everybody talk just like last year. We'll play it and we'll find out. What's really cool is we just got to be who we are. Just be us. And you don't have to try to be anybody that was in that position last year. You don't got to try to be anything better than just who you are and who we are. And I think that's what's going to be so cool as we get in through this next couple of weeks, gearing up for camp. And then we get to camp, that's why we're going to be successful. You look, you got a lot of individual, unreal talent, right? Just like last year. And Coach mentioned this today to the team. Last year you might have had 3 guys that before the season, the NFL was like, yeah, those 3 guys, they'll get drafted. Okay, well then how all of a sudden do you go to 9? It's because the team played well, right? And guys took their game to another level, not individually, as a team. And Coach always preaches it as well. Individual success comes from team success. Well, how do you get 9 guys drafted? Yeah, we won a lot of games. We played really well, but more attention on you, right? And then when we're all playing well, that feeds. It carries on. So I'm really excited. I love the leadership that we have, really strong. And I think there's really good young leadership as well. And that's what makes me excited. But again, just being who we are, nobody's got to be anybody different.
Do you sense like an add chip on the shoulder for the team as a whole? Because like you said, you kind of touched on it all throughout that rant, was the fact that, yeah, coming into last season, it was a top 10 team, one of the winningest quarterbacks in history. You got 2 lockdown corners. Just it does seem like this year, just from like a media standpoint and social media standpoint, that the pump bump isn't quite there. Do you sense the added chip on the shoulder from the veterans, and it's kind of leading down to all the younger players as well?
No, I think what's really unique about our guys, and I think it just stems from everything we've done since day one, is we don't give a flying, we don't give a fuck what anybody says, thinks, writes about us, because it doesn't mean anything, right? And everybody's got opinions, but they're not in this locker room. They're not.
You know what opinions are like, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what they're like. Everybody's got them. They all
Oh
stink.
yeah.
But I think what's really cool is they don't feed off any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like sometimes even last year you try to put up fake stuff that people are saying like that, oh, they're not as good. They kind of suck. And it's like, even when you do that, they don't really care. Like they might feed off it a little bit, but like
Right.
they're so intrinsic motivated, and then just the team in general. So no doubt the chip's always there no matter what, whether I'm a returning 2-year starter, 3-year starter, whether I'm going to be a starter, like it doesn't matter. That chip is there. I think that's just ingrained. That's who we are. That's our edge, the Clifton style, all that kind of stuff. But you just see, again, today was a really good reminder of it because we just came back from break. You go over the schedule, you're like, look, we got these 3 weeks and then camp's coming. So the eagerness is there, the hunger. And, there might be some stuff getting put out there about certain guys and all that stuff. They might see it. They might kind of like Coach Vic used to have our first year when they, or second year, whenever they put us like at the bottom and we finished, at the top or something.
Right.
But no, the chip's always there, man.
Having as many guys graduate as you had and as many guys leave for the NFL and all of that, and the national expectations being a little less than what they were last year, do you feel that the pressure is more, less, or the same than what it was going into this same position last year?
I don't think, and I mean, again, the expectation and the goal every single year is to play for championships. And I know that sounds like coach speak, like Coach Vic, but it really is. You're playing for a championship, you're going to have a great opportunity to do bigger things. So, it's not like we're the type that it's like, hey, one game at a time. No, we know what the expectation is. We know what our standard is. Play our best football at the end of the year and win championships. And, again, I think what's really cool is we don't set any expectations on ourselves, or we don't, whatever the media is saying of you guys should be this. I mean, shit, we went through a roller coaster of that last year with, we won every game, but yet,
Right.
Some games were close. Well, sorry, Navy held the ball 39 seconds and then ran the ball 1 yard and then did it again. And then, every kickoff was an onside kick. And like,
At least you're not still mad about it or anything.
no, last I checked, we won. But,
I was mad about that game.
Yeah. I mean,
put that on record.
It's, we don't put any limitations on ourselves. And, again, it's just exciting, because we know what the standard and expectation is, and nobody can dictate that besides us.
Well, Brady, let's hear some numbers, man, because Squad Fest happened. Some pretty doggone impressive weight was being thrown around. And am I saying this phrase right? I've been saying weight thrown around. That's kind of my go-to phrase instead of pumping iron or pumping. And I just think weight thrown around sounds a little better. But anyway, a lot of big weight was being thrown around. Just hit us with some raw numbers, some things that really impressed you.
Yeah, I think, obviously those two freaky wideouts, Trey and Tyler Scott, who are 185 pounds now. I wanted to make sure Justin knew that. Wanted to make sure a lot of media people knew that because they've been saying they're 172, 175. They're 185 now. And, again, a day after running the 4.29 and, just flying, and they squatted 545 pounds 3 times, which, Tyler probably could have done one more. Maybe 2 more. Trey could have maybe done 1 more, but, it was kind of like set. Like I told him, all week, I was like, look, you're hitting this number, 3 reps, you're good. Because they hit it for 1 rep, 3 weeks back, and it was just like, boom, it was butter. So I was like, you're going to hit it 3. That gives you a, 600 projected max, which that's what they wanted, and get up on the board, all that stuff, which we don't care about the numbers. It's how well you play football. But it was special to see that. Obviously, Ivan Pace, 685 for 4. And it was just funny because I told him, I didn't want anybody really to go over like 3 just because, you want to keep it going. But sometimes it just happens, man. When you're in that environment, you just go. So he crushed 4, and that was impressive as shit, obviously. What was really cool was JQ Hardaway, again, has got here in January and is just, whew. And,
Hi, JQ. He listens to these.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Great kid. Get some good sleep, buddy. You got a big day tomorrow. I think he had like 365 on the bar. So again, freshman, just got here in January. He's 202 right now. Such a great kid. Trained so hard. great attitude, great character. And he gets in and he's doing 365, and I'm like, all right, he's going to get like 3 or 4 here. And like all of a sudden he just like keeps going. Right. And it was funny because I'm talking to him like a little bit and he's like, shit, coach, it's like, it's kind of hard not to keep going when those lights and cameras are in your face. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what it's about. But
now the weights you give out are without the bar, right? You're just giving out the weights that are on the.
Yeah. So 365 on the bar. That's what JQ did. 545 on the bar for Trey and Tyler. 685 for Ivan.
So you add 45 pounds with the bar, right? Is that what the bar
that's
weighs?
Total. Like 545 is the bar and all the weights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did 600 come? I was told Tyler and Trey did 600.
Because that's like they repped out
the equivalent
545 for 3 reps.
Okay.
So it's a correlation, like like why Wiggins' number is so projected high on that board. It's because he squatted 615 and did like 8 to 10 reps, and I was like, stop, rack it. And he was yelling at me, it's too easy. This bitch is too easy. Like I still have that video, and I was like, why do I have a 205-pound freak show squatting 610 pounds? But again, I'm never going to hold kids back. We're always going to be smart and safe, and that's what that day was for. Wilson Huber hit 545, crushed it. Again, not trying to make him hit set all-time records. Just one hit. I mean, he's 250 pounds. Body looks the best he's ever looked. He's fast. I mean, he was hitting 20 miles an hour. He's never done that. I think, some of those D-line guys, Damo Perry, Jabari Taylor, they were hitting 600, for singles or double. Like Jabari, I was like, Jabari, look, I'm telling you, I told him for 2 weeks, I was like, you're going to hit 1 rep. I'm like, so I don't care what the weight is. I've seen you squat this. I've seen you squat that. So he's like, all right. He's like, let's just do like a smooth 600. I'm like, okay, cool. Shoot, boom. All right, good.
Smooth 600.
What Dante get?
Dante was like 585, I think, for a couple.
Okay.
Tunstall, I think, did 500 for 3, which is awesome.
And that's really hard for a dude that's that long and big, right?
And he can bend now. He's had such a great summer. I'm really, really happy and proud of him, and can't wait to see him. Big Cam Jones, the Bear, as Coach Cummins likes to call him. He did the same 500 for like 2 or 3. Gavin Gerhardt did like 500 for 2 or 3.
Gavin's had a really good right? Like a really good summer. He had a good spring. I was really impressed with him this spring.
The guys that have been absolutely just crushing it, ever since their rehab from earlier in the winter, the Wileys and the Renfros, their numbers were back to where they were. So that was really great to see. They obviously wanted to do way more. And, kudos to Dr. Miyagi, Coach Austin. He's like, no, we're good. We're going to hit this number right here. You're good.
You did not prepare us for how big Potter is.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a real big boy. And he's been doing a great job as well. I'm excited for him to keep going through these OTAs and then get to camp and really see what he can do. But it's been a great addition, I tell you. I think Byron Threats hit 515 for 3.
He looks great.
I love that kid.
So did Justin Harris.
Yep, Justin looked good. Arquan. Jayvon Hicks squatted the most he's ever squatted. It was like 455 for an easy 3. He could have probably got like 6 to 7, but he's been awesome. His weight's up. He's 210. He looks totally different. Nick Marner. That guy. Every bit of 6'6", and again, put on 25 pounds. He squatted 405 for I think like 4, and that was awesome. Jaden Thompson, who has put on good weight as well. He's 187 pounds. He did 405 for a couple. I mean, that's impressive shit now. I mean, that's 4 plates. Mm-hmm. And like not like half squatting. Like that was honestly, if I go back to like that first question, like, the one thing, and we were talking about as a staff, I said it had to be the first squat fest where like the rep integrity of everybody was fucking perfect. Like, and normally, you get going, your first 2 reps might be like, oh, they're perfect. The 3rd rep, a little high. 4th rep, whatever. Like it was like, and that was, to me as a coach, like that's what you want, because anybody can just put weight on a bar and do shitty technique, but that's not what we're about. So that was really cool to see. I should have had my list prepared for you, but crazy numbers all over the place. Well, heavy repetition leads to
improve fundamentals. So obviously you can tell that you've had them in the weight room doing the right thing for a while. But
Yeah.
I also want to hear about how you're able to get the oil back up and moving afterwards. Like when sometimes you get a little wear and tear, a lot of workouts, a lot of this, that, and the other, and then all of a sudden you gotta get an oil change. You gotta head over to Danco Transmission. We got to mention a quick Danco Transmission shout out. Head over to Danco Transmission Auto Care. Get your oil changed, $10 off, 10% off. Do whatever you need. Walk in, talk to Danco Joe, the man, the myth, the guy. Let him know BCJ sent you, BBP sent you, Aaron Smith sent you. And, of course, let him know that Brady Collins said up, down, a couple of squats, in and out, 10% off, $10 off next oil change.
Brent,
yes.
Big shout out to Danco Joe for that $1,000 donation to the TBT this week, too.
Huge shout out.
That was huge.
He was the guy that matched the first 1,000. And I tell you what, man, it is a thrill to see that up and moving. Anything Bearcat, the community gets together. Yep. And obviously you can see it's a strong push towards the front of the line and seeing what you can do. But, Brady, you mentioned all these big numbers, and it's awesome to hear. And we are going to talk about the rest and relaxation and the way that you're able to come back a little bit later. But I had to throw that out there for our man Danco Joe and Danco Transmission and Auto Care. There we go. No doubt. But Brady, talk to me a little bit how you're able to wrap things up at the end when you have both line up in two lines down the middle. Is that something that you kind of have gotten within yourself and just a team unity on the pretty traditional workouts? But when you see that many guys together doing the workouts as one, it is something special.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of did some finishers throughout the summer that kind of prepped up for that. The where they lock arms and they're doing leg lifts and flutter and single leg up and all that stuff. I mean, it's a mental, no doubt it's physical, but it's more of a mental thing, right? Like you're tired, your legs are feeling it, your upper body. So it was a total body workout. So it's just you're going through adversity, you're going through the shit right now, but you're not doing it alone. You're doing it with the entire offense or the entire defense. And the only way you do it, you can't do anything alone. Not in this program, not in life, especially not on the football field. So they lock arms, they do that. I threw the push-ups and sit-ups in there, just extra stuff, get them all counting together. Obviously we did 15, then we did 7, then we did 1 of push-ups and sit-ups, just obviously a little meaning behind all those and stuff. But, it's just really, it's something, you don't want to just end the workout. And it's like, all right, good job. Yay, squat fest. Like, right. And it's funny because, Friday, I mean, we hang our hat on every day that we train, no doubt. But Fridays are like our day, like throughout the winter, throughout the summer. And, it's funny for like the last 2 Fridays leading up to Squat Fest, we didn't have like a finisher. So, like when the kids were done, like with our lift, they're like, all right, what do we got? And I'm like, that's it. We're good. They're like, what? No, we got abs. What do we got? Wall sit? Like, do we got prowlers? And I'm like, no, you're good. Squat Fest is coming. They're like, oh, okay. Yeah. They're like, man, come on. We want some. Like, but it's just kind of, it's one of those reminders, because again, can you simulate 4th and 1? No, but you can put guys in certain situations where they got to count, rely on the guy next to them on each side, in front of them, behind them, and know that they've put in the work, they've grinded, they've suffered, that they're not going to give in. They got their brother's back. So just fun, unique ways to kind of, wrap it all up and then finish with some nice words. Ain't that right?
Man, I tell you what, you got me going on that first one. I was actually texting. I didn't mention any names. I did send that out in my 4th of July text to my friends. I was like, gosh, we are great. We are great. And then sent that out, and they were just got them hyped up a little bit. But aside from that, we already mentioned a couple of names. I kind of have a general question when it comes to the groups in the Squat Fest, because obviously you saw some similar groups, but then you saw like a Ryan Montgomery with Wiley and Renfro, and you saw Corey Kiner was working out with I believe it was maybe Gerhardt and Fickle, or 2 linemen were with Kiner. How do the groups get put together? Is that another thing that's just you get everything out there? Is it pure number wise, or is it pushing each other wise? How do you come up with those?
No, I mean, like, case in point, that Wiley, that Rhino, that Renfro and Kiner group, those were guys with Coach Austin, who again is unbelievable coach person. But just his niche is, not injury modification. It is, but just, rehab, all that kind of stuff. He's like a PT. He's a sports scientist. He's a great coach. He's a great strength coach. And so he had those guys since the winter when they, Rhino had his shoulder done, Renfro with his hip, Wiley with his foot and shoulder. So, he's groomed those guys. I would train them every now and then, but, those have been his core for a long time. So, I don't want to change that up on Squat Fest just because it's crazy and the lights are out. Like they've had their progressions. They're going to do that. But if you look around, every group was like a mix, the CPAL Pride lift that we do in the winter, that's where the O-line will go to this station. The running backs and tight ends go to this station. The quarterbacks, wide receivers go to this station. The Squat Fest, you just want a good mix. I like in every area, if you looked at my area, I had DBs, I had linebackers, and I had D-line. With the offense, I had O-line, I had quarterbacks, I had wideouts, and I had tight ends. It's just always a good little mix. Because, no doubt if we're all wideouts and we're all training together, we're going to be hyping it up. We're going to be having fun. But I want everybody to feel and see and hear and have fun with everybody.
You've brought up your assistants a couple times tonight. What did it mean for you to see them in this space a couple weeks ago as we had all of them here as part of our show?
Oh, it was awesome. No, I enjoyed it. I love being on here with you guys. It's awesome. But I also love, for those guys to get a little taste, get a little experience. I think they deserve, all the opportunities, stuff like this. And, they're, like I said, they're just as important as anybody in this program. I know, like I said, everybody always gives credit, head coach and quarterback, but, there's so many people behind the scenes, not just my staff, but EQ, support staff, training staff, best in America, Aaron, Michelle, all those people. Like I said, Russo, our nutritionist. It was cool though. It was really fun to see him on here, and technical difficulties for a few of them, I'm sure. So we'll make sure they're better next time.
You got to admit they had some pretty crazy stories they told us about you, didn't they?
No, they got gun shy, didn't they?
They did. Off air, they were ready. I told them to prepare some, and then all of a sudden, bright lights came on. But no, it was awesome having them on. Can you reveal the identity of Mike Myers? I actually don't do that. But go ahead and just tell us a little bit how that came
I will reveal his identity. His name is Tyler Thurman, and he's been an intern with us since the winter. And he was a former O lineman at Mid-Tennessee State, and just a great young kid, man. I mean, he works his ass off. He does a lot of the sports science stuff with us, but he does a really good job of just, being eager, being excited to come to work every day, having fun with the guys. Like, to me, it's easy just to be like, hey, you dress up like this and you put on that. And yeah, I want you to dance around and do this or whatever. But for me, it's cool because the guys respect him because they see how hard he works. Like I've always said, kids see through bullshit and kids want to fuck around and have fun, not only with us, but the interns as well. And, but they appreciate it because they know he's working his ass off, not only for us, but for those kids. So he's a different type of bird. And, he's every bit of 6'4", 6'5". And he said his favorite, movie was like Halloween one time. And it was just like, boom, stuck in my head. And, it's not like, Squat Fest is like a costume or a theme lift. I mean, it's a theme lift, but it's not like, dress up, all that stuff. But
except for Wiley.
Wiley was scary too. It's turned into the sunglass party since last year with Sauce. So that was cool to see guys wearing sunglasses. Mine got broke in the mosh, so that's fine.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, it's all good. Maybe Dez or Wiley can hook me up with a pair. They got their deals. Or Maj could. But it was. I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Mike Myers.
Oh yeah. So I was looking on Amazon one day, and I saw the costume, and I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna do this." And I bought like a legit Michael Myers mask, and he put it on, and he was in the back office, and I was just like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "Yes." And he goes, "Coach, all I want to do is just walk around." I said, "You can do whatever you want, buddy." And he's like, "It's like I just want to be in the background of every picture." I'm like, you will be.
And he did a great job making it very uncomfortable.
He did. He played
Yeah.
that part perfect. I think one of the funniest pictures I saw. So he had a little plastic fake machete.
Yeah.
And the push pull shrug neck circuit little court area. He's standing by the neck and he's just holding the machete out as the guys are doing neck. And it's like coming right to here. And like some guys are like, man, you are messed up, bro. And like, of course, he didn't say a word the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. Now he plays.
Got to be in character.
Got to be in character. Can't break character.
How long has the AAC championship been running on loop in your office?
Only on special days.
Okay.
Only on special days. Yeah.
I tell you a fun story about that one. So we're standing there, and it's almost halftime, and Luke walks by, and he stops for a second, and I said, "These guys got to get their head out of their ass," and he's like, "We'll get them in the locker room, make some adjustments." I'm like, yeah, they don't look right, man. I'm a little worried about this thing, and he goes, "Catch me at the end." Catch me when the final score is posted. Even when you try to give him a hard time, he always wins. It's annoying.
He does. He never loses.
Annoying.
That's his favorite saying.
Yeah, we walked in and I had an energy drink. Brent has coffee. And he's like, didn't anybody tell you guys only coaches can have coffee down here? So we were all laughing, whatever. I finished my drink right away and throw it away. He's like, I didn't mean you had to throw it away, right? I was like, I heard you only give hard time to the people that you like, so I guess we're okay.
I chugged my scorching hot coffee and I said, "This is Squat Fest, baby. I'm ready. I am ready." Brady, I gotta ask, how many OBs do you drop each Squat Fest? Because I tell you what, man, I put my hand on your back and it was like a sponge almost.
I would say at least probably 5 pounds. I mean, you try to give yourself a little buffer to prep for that next group, to reset, let guys get their pictures, all that stuff. Mainly for us to kind of, all right, let's make sure we're ready for round 2. I think in the past, maybe I had a little time to change like my compression shorts. Nope, not this time. Those new sweatshirts we were wearing, they were hot.
Yeah.
But no, it was, I'd probably say about 5, at least 5. All water weight, though. It's all good.
I mean, easily.
So let the people know, what do the next 3 weeks look like for the team? Like in that lead up from coming back from a little week break, because that's really their last break now until December or whatever. So
yeah, I think actually, I mean, we're gonna have a nice, not a nice long break. I mean, they'll have like
a couple days,
3.5, 4 days, maybe. Right at the end, right before we officially kind of start camp. With just some new rules and just the way we do things. And I think that's great because the way we set up everything. Yeah, I could be biased, but it works perfect. And obviously, the past speaks for itself. But you're always not just trying to copy and paste. You're going to enhance what you're doing. So we had a great training all of when we started in May and all of June, and then finished with a great banger. Had a nice little week, reset, came back today, had a nice team run in the morning in the NIP, and then had OD lifts, and they can start having like meetings. And tomorrow the OTAs start, which is great because you're out there and you're working with the coaches and you're getting ready, so that when you get to camp, it's not just like, whoa, day one. And even though a lot of guys know and all that stuff. So it's a nice little schedule that, it's mixed up with, 2 OTAs, still lifting, 3 times a week, and meetings and all that stuff. So we'll roll with that for a couple weeks. And then, the last week we always kind of treat it a little different. Could be a fun lift at night, could be a going away trip, could be who knows what, we'll see. And then those older guys will have a good couple of days to again reset, recharge, get ready to rock and roll into phase 3, which will be camp.
What do OTAs consist of? Like, let the fans know like what
so it's like with all the rules that there are, and again, I know they're changing yearly, daily, monthly, but coaches can be out there with the guys. One of the new rules now is like, you can do drills, indie drills, like with the ball, where in the past it was like
no ball.
Evident. Yeah, no ball. So, that's great
Airba.
because, if I'm a wideout and I'm working my footwork stuff and then, I'm going to catch a ball, when I can, legitimately catch a ball as opposed to,
pretending
a towel, or like, running backs used to be running with a towel, quarterbacks be snapping with a towel. So now you're just kind of getting, the real situation. But it's like a very, I mean, I don't want to say it because nothing that we do is slow or dummy down or anything like that. I mean, these kids compete, they do whatever, but it's not like about, okay, we're going to see who the best guy is or who's going to be the starting nickel or who's, it's like, it's talking, it's communicating, it's getting it lined up, it's adjustments. I think that's one of the coolest things that we do is if we go against each other, an offense and a defense, obviously there's no pads, there's no helmets. And even when you do that, like the football can't be live. So it's like really, the offense gets set. They might do a little motion, whatever. The defense is calling. They're getting set, set hit, 3 hard steps. Everybody's lined up and then, okay, reset, just kind of getting the tempo, terminology, all that stuff down. Guys kind of start getting their legs ready for, just the flow of practice of, warm up, individual drills, special team drills, 7-on-7 where, again, you're not trying to dominate DBs and stuff. It's just getting good reps, make sure you're tracking the ball, make sure you're in the right position. Again, really everything, it's about communication, because that's so huge. Guys can see things on film or be taught things in the meeting room and, they write it down. Can they regurgitate it? Can they see it when it's flowing? And that's what's great about these because it's not camp and it's not, spring ball. So it's kind of easing you into it so that when it does really start flying, the game is slowed down because you know what you're doing.
Aaron, I think we have a couple mailbag questions for Brady. We'll get
real
those
quick while you pull those up. Tell us how cool it is that the nation's getting to get a better feel for this guy. This is Sauce apparently just hanging out with a little league team in line for ice cream. And they asked him his favorite ice cream. He said strawberry cheesecake. But like, I think there's this perception that he's like, this ultra cocky
prima donna,
asshole cornerback. And when you get to know this kid, like that's not who he is at all. Like he's such a different dude.
He's a great young man, man. And again, some media or some outside people might think that's probably all the teams that we played and beat because they were butthurt. But you ask any NFL GM that met with that young man during the draft process, and they all told coach the same thing. Like, are we getting duped here? Is this kid really that genuine? Is he really that, smart and, has great character and trust? I mean, yes, that's who he is. He was raised the right way, bless his mom and his family members around him. And, he's a pure example of humble and hungry. Kid came in skinnier than a toothpick and grinded, did things the right way.
And a toothpick would be like, hey, I'm not that skinny. Relax.
Yeah.
The toothpick would take offense.
But man, he is just, he's awesome. I mean, he would do that anywhere. He doesn't care. He's not, because one of the coolest things he always says is, one of those little kids that was him one day. And, no, that's funny. It was funny a quick story about him. I forget who it was, but the defense is doing the rope fights or whatever. And someone's like, I want a mod. And like, they're like getting up in my face. And like, Ahmad's like, you don't want that? You don't want that? And I said, Ahmad's had his time, man. I'm like, he's got 38 million reasons why he doesn't need to do
this. That's true. That's true. Brady, Iron Sharpens Iron was on all the shirts. Mm-hmm. I kind of mentioned it a little bit during the tug of war, but another thing I really liked was, I saw a few times when Evan Prater was doing his max squat and Ben Bryant was pushing people out of the way to get there and cheer him on. Same when Ben was doing his, Evan was pushing through to get there. Ivan, before he stepped up for his brother Deshaun pushed everyone aside and made sure he was there to be the spotter.
Yeah.
Is this something that it has really formed organically? Is this true iron sharpens iron? You mentioned Tyler Scott and Trey Tucker. They're both pushing each other to the extreme, talking about speed and how Drew Donnelly's got next, but they've got right now. Is this all happening organically now that you guys have really instilled the quote unquote culture of what the program is?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's on every shirt that we have. The FE squared, which obviously means iron sharpens iron. It also has a deeper meaning, which we all know. But it is, man. It is very unique and special to who we are and how we've gotten to where we are now and what we've done and what we're still gonna, continue to accomplish. And it's like I said earlier, man. You can't do anything alone in this program, in football, and life. And ultimately, everybody wants to be great. They want to be the best. They want to be the guy, right? Do you need to be it? Like, is it something you can't go 10 minutes without thinking about, or 3 days when you have a break? Are you like, man, I got to work out. I gotta do some type of football. And ultimately, again, you can't be an individual. You can't be a guy that is just really, really good at football, and you train okay, but you don't really care about the guys around you. You're just going to take care of you. I'm going to be me. I'm still going to be good. Like, it just doesn't happen that way, especially in our program. So it is really cool because the guys know the only way they're going to be the best version of themselves is if they got other guys around them pushing them and holding them accountable to be that. And it rubs off on each other. And, ultimately also there's that, competitive spirit and the unit strength that's involved in it. You got Ben Bryant and Evan Prater that are battling out for the starting position, but yet, they're working out together every day. They're, communicating, they're having fun. They're hanging out outside of here. They're pushing people. They're pushing each other. They're competing nonstop. And, that's what's really cool to see.
Aaron, you got some lined up?
Yes, I do.
There we go.
All right, Brady. So the question specifically for you from our mailbag. Brady, I'm 54 years old with my COVID year of eligibility remaining. Can you get me ready by September 3rd?
I already answered this for you. I said no.
Can you get me ready by September 3rd to drink some beers in the parking lot and sit in the stands? Yes.
Right. Be the greatest fan you can. Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
There
I
we
can.
go.
There's even
what would beer drinking training look like? That might be a thing you could monetize.
It's true.
Would you pass us off to Felino, or would we have to be under you?
Yeah, it's true. That would be a good pass off. Yes. I can get you in better shape than what you are now, but ready to play? Ooh, that'd be tough.
Brady, if you were head coach and it's September 3rd, we have the ball. It's 4th and 1 on the opponent's 39. What would you call? He even gives actually multiple choices that didn't have enough room. A, punt. B, QB sneak. C, shotgun handoff. D, goal line formation. Running back dive. E, play action pass. F, field goal attempt.
Should we further?
What's the situation?
Yeah, should we say
What's the time?
Let's
the
go
score?
fourth quarter, minute 20 left. 0 timeouts on
Down
either
3.
side. No, let's go up 2.
You go for it. 100%.
Win the game.
It's on the opponent's 39.
Yeah.
Go for it. It's a yard.
Yeah.
A yard. We'll take our guys against anybody. A yard.
But you're going under center, or are you going shotgun?
Well, that's a Coach Gino question.
No, this is back at your
this
plan
is
right
me.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, this is you.
I'm gonna go 14 personnel.
Okay.
Get all four tight ends out there.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go under center.
Okay.
And name any running back you want. I'm gonna hand them the ball.
Okay. You're not gonna fullback dive to Brady Collins?
Well, if we could have a tight end come in motion to be a fullback. So
I like this. I like
an
this.
H-back.
There we go. Go for it. Good. That's the correct answer, I think.
Which tight end? Lenny?
To go in motion, I'm going to go Shimon.
Okay, well done.
I can see Shimon getting a yard.
Yep.
He was begging me to get you to let him hit the ropes with Lenny. He wanted a piece of Lenny.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
That probably would have been pretty good.
Tell Coach I want Lenny. Tell Coach I want Lenny.
I should have.
Brady's favorite day of the week during the season and why, excluding game day?
Oh, man, that's tough. Game weeks are just the best. In season's the best, man.
Tuesdays, right? Tuesdays, Bloody Tuesday?
No. Tuesday's fun because, you practice. There's no really training that day. I always do a breakfast club with the young O-line, D-line guys. They come in. I do some metabolic stuff with them. It's always kind of fun, little extra, little something special that we do. Monday's really great day because, the freshmen will train early. And then, it's a great day for my staff and myself. There's really nothing. The coaches are game planning all day. The older guys, technically have the day off. So they're getting treatments and resting and doing real life things, getting caught up on academics, all that. So I have a rule, for me, it's, hey, everybody's out by noon. So that's great because like last year I could pick up my daughter from school, get Chick-fil-A for the family, and then, be home a long time, which in season, you don't really have too much of that. Tuesday, is another good day because there's really nothing all morning until, besides my breakfast club thing, until practice. So, that's a great day to get caught up on a lot of stuff, research, get hella personal workouts in. Wednesday's a great day because that's the day we train. We get after it. The whole team starts off in the morning. The freshmen, they'll train early, and then the older guys come in around their schedule. I call it like the barber shop. So, I might have 2 guys come in at 9, and then 2 more guys come in at 9:30. 2 guys. So it's like just, as one group is kind of nearing the end or on their arms, the next group's starting. So it's fun. Thursday's another day where you get a couple guys lifting. It's our no sweat, Thursday that we do. And then obviously primetime guns, which is like a mini squat fest. It's awesome. And almost just as crazy. These kids are nuts. And then Thursday's good too because, we're out there. I always give a speech on Thursday, which is fun. Friday, obviously, it's great because when the morning's all done in the afternoon, team hotel, that's always great. But I would have to say probably Wednesday, just because I love just being out on the floor and just training guys like 1-on-2 like all day. It's great.
And also, of course, successful Sunday as well. A little
yes, those are great too. Nothing better than Sundays, man.
Soak Success Sunday. There we go. The triple S.
And your last question from the mailbag, Brady. Who has been the one dude of the summer? As you have, we all know that you have your dudes of the week. This one was wondering if you had one dude of the summer.
I mean, that's hard. There's so many. And again, why we do that, we always want to pump out guys that they've come a long way or they did something not like really cool with weight or anything in the week, but like maybe they went out of their way to do some type of leadership or accountability or, really brought someone along or, put their arm around, just stuff like that. But, man, that's a really tough question.
You know what you want to answer.
What, Trey?
Yep. That's your new son, Trey Tucker.
Trey is.
Yeah.
Wiley. I said the Gavin Gerhardt, he's been unreal. So there's just, I don't want to just label it to one, but
I was gonna say I don't want you to forget somebody either, as you're just trying to name people off the top of your head.
Just Jabari, I think, really stands out because of his leadership. I mentioned Huber earlier just because, again, he's 250. His body looks the best it ever has. He's fast. He's just his leadership through the roof, all those things. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to put again, you could call me a sellout, but we're blessed, dude. We got a bunch of them.
I'm going to hit you with one from the banks too. The off-topic question section. How many Texas Roadhouse rolls could you eat in an hour?
Could I eat in an hour?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Man, those fill you up now.
They do eventually, not right away. Right away, when you get the butter on there, you're like, oh my God.
I mean, there
was a while my daughter was eating like 2 baskets of them every time we go to Texas Roadhouse.
Well, they only put like 4 in a basket.
Yeah, well, she's 11. She was eating 8 rolls.
True.
That's pretty good.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't know. Is there like some type of reward if I eat a bunch? Because I need some motivation. Like
full.
I'm not just going to be like, all right, I'm going to see how many
full.
I can eat.
Full.
I would say, I'll say 12.
12. There you go. Full disclosure.
4 baskets.
I've never been to Texas Roadhouse. Can you explain what the rolls are like?
They melt in your mouth.
Are they like
And they have like a
Charlie's
cinnamon
roll?
butter.
The
They have
cinnamon
like
butter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the cinnamon
Cinnamon
butter.
Is it like O'Charlie's? Like those kind of rolls?
They're a little lighter than that.
Okay.
A little more airy.
It's like the
Like
softest bread you've ever.
Yeah, they're delicious. They're
20.
really good.
20.
Brent could go. Well, we'll get to our answer, Brent. I just wanted to get Brady's answer. Brady goes 12.
Yeah.
12.
Oh, we're doing it again at the end. Okay.
Oh yeah. We still have the bounce part of the mailbag. So
I'll Google
I just wanted Brady's
I'll
answer.
Google it. Well, Brady said 12, so now I know I got to beat.
I'm setting the bar, somewhat low but somewhat high, so
Right.
I can exceed expectations.
There we go.
Okay. If all the coaches had to run against each other, who would win in a race? Brown?
If all the coaches had just a regular sprint.
Yeah, like a 40, I guess.
Let's go 100-yard dash. 100-yard.
Yeah, 100.
Oh God, 100-yard dash.
It'd have to be Brown, right? Brown still runs. Like he's still after practice, he's still out there getting after it.
Yeah, I would say.
Paige still has some.
I would say Coach Brown probably one, and then me too.
Okay. Now we switch it to 40. Are you gonna flip yourself in there?
I
Going to 40?
don't want to push that one.
Okay.
My Papa Hammy.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm not trying to do that. But yeah, definitely we'll definitely give it to Coach Brown for sure.
So Brady, what do you do after Squat Fest? Because also you said who was the guy of the summer. I mean I wanted to ask about Armarion Smith. I wanted to ask about Sincerely. I had a laundry list of people that were just I wanted to get after, but obviously we got to let you go soon. So let us know, what did you do after the Squat Fest, and what did you do that week leading up coming back now today? That kind of because I know you get the jitters, you want to be there, you want to be in front of the team. That'll be the last question, wrapping it up. Tell us what you've been up to this past week.
After Squat Fest, let's see. Well, as soon as I caught my breath and did those quick interviews or whatever, I ate some Chick-fil-A burritos and just kind of sat in the back office with the boys talking, took some pictures with them, took a shower, a nice long shower, which felt great.
Much needed.
Came back down, went over some of the numbers with the guys, all that, and then I think left, picked up my daughter from gymnastics, went home. I think I was in bed by 8. Had a great sleep, got up Saturday, had a nice day at home with the family. Got up Sunday and we drove down to my wife's family's lake house in Cumberland.
Beautiful.
That was fun. Stayed there Sunday, came back Monday night. And then it's been a great week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just stayed home all day with the kids. My son, every night he'd be like, "Daddy, no work tomorrow?" And I'd be like, "Nope." He goes, "Yes." And because he'd wake me up at like 5:30 in the morning, and eat breakfast with him, play all day, hit dingers outside. And, took him putt-putting one day, and his birthday was Thursday, so that was really fun.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. And then Friday, I went up to Columbus and played in the annual Maradi golf outing, which is always a great time. So went up there Friday, stayed at wife's family's house, then played golf again Saturday in the outing. Go to Coach Mick's house after both nights, have fun, swim in the pool. Wife and kids came up Saturday, so the kids got to get in the pool. Allie got to see Mrs. Maradi again and some other of the family members and stuff, which is always fun. And then Sunday, we had a little monster jam party for my boy at a park up there in Powell, Ohio, which was great because all of our family's up in Columbus. So, and we were already up there.
Right.
We just have a party up there. That way everybody doesn't have to come down here. And when that was done, got in the car, came back last night, met my staff at the Miami Trail Yards to, grab a beer and some dinner and just make sure we're all good for this week and the next coming weeks so that, today didn't come with any surprises or anything like that. And here we are.
I can answer this question. Brady, what's your favorite food? Tacos. We've asked you that before. Is it shifted?
I said Mexican.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mexican.
but I do love a mean steak now.
Oh,
And finally, what's the secret to looking good, Brady?
I can't tell you that.
Tell you, you'd have to kill you.
I'd have to kill you.
you got to head to Squat Fest for that answer.
What's the secret to looking good? Oh man, I mean, you know
Water,
what?
water, and neck workouts, right?
Neck workouts.
Yeah,
for
your
sure.
neck has to be strong.
Gotta train your neck. Gotta train your neck. Being around young people. There you go.
You always stay young.
They keep you young. That's
There
right.
we go. There we go. Brady, man.
All right, get out of here.
You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT, man.
Appreciate
Thanks for having
Awesome,
thanks for
boys.
coming on.
We'll get you right before the start of camp, and then because we know we won't get you at camp, we'll get you in that little window.
We'll
right
have
before camp starts.
a campfire side, whatever you want to call it, round table with the whole staff.
I like that.
I'm down.
I like
Depends on the Wi-Fi out there. Otherwise, might be on the struggle bus again.
Their Wi-Fi is actually pretty good.
All right.
that. Enough to keep all those phones alive that are out there. So
Or it could be just
We'll
a
be good.
simple record because there might be a lot of editing in that
true.
one.
Oh,
So,
true. We'll bring the beers.
Fair enough.
We'll bring the
we'll
beers.
bring the beers.
All righty, man.
Perfect.
Thank you so
Chuck-
much, Brady.
No
Chuck
problem,
might
boys.
come after me if I showed up with a car full of beer.
Nah.
He'd be all right. As long as we let him have a couple, he'll be fine.
He's too good of a guy.
He is. I love it. See ya in a couple of weeks, brother.
All right, boys. Take care, man. Have fun.
Thanks,
Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right.
See you, brother. Well, that's a good guy.
It's always one of our favorite things to do whenever we get him. It used to be every other week, but I mean, we've asked. Brady's not turning 30 this
He
year.
turns 30 every year.
Yeah, he's turning 30 again this year.
Yeah.
But
believe it.
it's always one of our best shows. I try to get him at least once a month. Brent hit me up this morning and said, "Time for Brady." I'm like, yeah. That way we can get him now, and we can get him one more time in a couple weeks, right before they get to higher ground. And then, God, guys, we're 3 weeks from higher ground. We're what 8 Saturdays from football. Like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We can it's finally, it's coming. It's close. It's exciting.
The iron's been sharpening. It's ready to.
Brent and I have
ready to
discussed
attack.
Brent's preseason or pre-camp articles. We got those in motion. So, we're getting there.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Do we have a timestamp?
Well, we don't have a timestamp sponsor. We can
Right.
timestamp.
Let's go ahead and
Brady.
timestamp it.
If you would like to sponsor the timestamps, hit me up, DMs, message me on Bearcat Journal. The timestamps are available for this show and the BCJ podcast. You can get both. You can get one. Somebody else can get the other. But they're available, and they're reasonable. Reasonably priced to get your business out to the Bearcat community. So hit me up.
No talk stamp this week, so someone else has got to step up there, right? But it's always hilarious.
Where's Tonk? Where's the Tonk stamp? Somebody's got to donate to get the time stamp. Like, that's been the new thing, right? Somebody
It's
donates
hilarious.
and gets their personal name mentioned as sponsor of the timestamps during these shows. So make it happen, people.
There we go. But no, I mean, so like you said, football's right around the corner.
We're almost there, man. We're getting
We
close.
are almost there.
I mean, can you imagine how quickly it's going to go for me? In between now and higher ground, there's going to be a mini me.
Yep.
And
Well,
that,
girl.
well, I mean, still, it's going to be
I hope she looks like her.
me too.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that's going to be like
If she's got a beard and a buzz cut, it's not going to be pretty.
ultrasounds have plenty of hair.
Okay. Could be a good thing.
I don't know. It's just going to be the
As long as it's on her head.
it's going to be the
Right.
fastest 3 weeks of my life.
If she comes out with a salt and pepper beard, we got problems, bro.
Exactly. Chad, can you see tweet users' address when they subscribe? It's a question we got in the questions. I don't know if you want to answer
I
that?
can. Yeah.
Okay. There we go. But
Some random question.
very random. But one last thing I wanted to wrap up with the football side of things is the fact that, we're getting closer and closer, but it just doesn't really seem like there's any definitive answers or anyone separated themselves in the weight room portion or the workout, strength and conditioning portion of, the whole entire offseason, which means.
Well, that's not really where separation happens.
Oh, no, I know.
Separation happens on the field.
Unless
the guy's just being
out.
a lazy shit or somebody
right.
explodes. But, Brady's always talked about it's not about the weight. It's about the work. Get in. As long as guys are getting in and doing the work. And there is a culture around this program now that the work is celebrated. The work is expected.
Right.
Like a guy doing the work is not special. A guy doing the work is you get up every day, you get your ass in the weight room, you do the work.
Yep.
And we get better because of it. You'll subscribe with the name. Like I'm not like you asked if I can see those. Of course I can. Like there's what you have to fill out to subscribe to Bearcat Journal. I own the site. I can see those things. I'm not doxing you to anyone. Like, relax. It's okay. It's all right.
It's never happened before.
Believe me,
hopefully
tweet
you
user.
subscribe to the right Bearcat Journal. There's only one BearcatJournal.com. So if you subscribe to a different BearcatJournal.com, I'm going to need you to let me know.
You're going to see a lot of.
I see Michael Beers. Is Michael Beers your name? Because if Michael Beers is your name, then I see it.
A lot of Lucio's walking around.
What is happening?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see what all the I mentioned a couple of names as we were closing out there with Brady. Just the Armarion Smiths and the Sincere Lewis. Sure those are underclassmen and their time is probably yet to come, but man,
the door is open for some underclassmen more so than it has been in a couple of years. And if it's not in a starter role, it's in a that prominent 1A, 1B, yeah.
So we'll see, man. That was more of a teaser for what's to come and what to anticipate as we head to
I can't wait
higher
to get
ground,
to higher ground, man. There's going to be so much to talk about at higher ground this year. I'm excited.
I'm sad I'm not going to be able to make as much higher ground as I was last year being downtown, but man, I can't wait to hear what comes out of higher.
Oh yeah, what's the trip from Athens over there? That's got to be
about 3 hours.
That's a long trip. That's a long. It's a
hike.
It's hard.
It's hard.
You could stay at my house next time you're in Indy.
You ever been to Albany, Brent? It's hard.
Yeah, you ever gone from Athens to West Harrison, Ohio, West Harrison, Indiana? It's hard.
Man, you guys love Bob Huggins, man.
We love making fun of Bob Huggins, Jess.
Oh, I know. But of course, football right around the corner. Keep your eyes peeled. We'll have more and more content leading up to that. Let's go ahead and wrap up some of the football recruiting news. There's nothing more on that front. Possibly later this week.
Could be a big week later this week if everything gets done.
I think the players have already mentioned that their commitment dates, right?
I don't know if LZ has. All he's really said is sometime this month. He's been cryptic. I think it could be coming this week.
Like when he said back to back with
Anthony Brown on Saturday. At least that's the date we have for now. Kentucky's not giving up on Anthony Brown. I'll tell you that. They are aggressively pursuing the Springfield, Ohio wide receiver.
Seen that song and dance before.
Aggressively.
Yeah.
So,
but hey, Chad, you've been in that corner all along, so definitely something to continue to keep an eye out on. Mick did put up a story recently from the 2023 commits and all their conversations and thoughts leading into the next step of their offseason and all of that. And then, of course, the final targets from this class and the ICR as well. So go ahead and check those out on Bearcat Journal. Aside from that, anything more on
Jalen Thompson dropped his top 5.
Yep. And
as expected, Cincinnati's in there.
It's a mighty top 5 too.
That's a big top 5.
Yes, it is.
This program's come a long way.
It really has, especially when you see the top 5 and then you're like, they're right in the thick of it. Normally, you'd see that top 5 like 2 or 3 years ago, and you'd be like, "Well, thanks for mentioning the
like an honorable mention."
Right. But yeah, so obviously another one to check out. Aside from that, Brady Dragish just recently, Alan True gave him a Mitch Trubisky comparison, and I know Chad, you hate comparisons, but that's not a terrible one.
If you're a college team, yeah. Like if you're an NFL team, maybe not as great, but Mitch Trubisky was pretty good in college, so that's.
If Dragish went top 5 in the draft, I think we'd all take that in a heartbeat as well.
Sure. I'm just saying, like he hasn't blown up in the NFL,
not quite
to date, but
he's projected to be a starter.
True.
That'll be some fun games coming up there. But aside from that, let's go ahead and move on to basketball. The timestamp that one, bang, boom. And Kathy put it. Oh, that's a good one, Kathy. I agree. Throw it up or no?
He could care less. That's not how the saying goes, Kathy. You're always about things being proper. He couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. If he could care less, that means he has less care to give. Couldn't care less.
Amen. So as far as team news for the basketball team itself, not much. I know John Rothstein had an interview with Wes, kind of stuff that we regurgitate a lot here on the pod and different things of that sort. And of course, Rothstein picked the Bearcats to finish 3rd in his little projections. Not a bad spot to be in, I don't think. And it also kind of looking at just thumbing through that a little bit kind of shows you that outside of Houston, the AAC is pretty wide open next year. And so that's another thing to keep an eye on. One thing that really piqued my interest, though, was that out of all the returning players, West pigeonholed Victor Locken as a player.
Well, I haven't listened to the podcast yet. I don't know that he pigeonholed Victor Locken.
He picked
Rothstein.
him as, he said
pigeonholed Victor Locken.
Right. He said who's one player that you would expect the biggest jump from, one returning player that you would expect the biggest jump from heading into next season. And Wes, just mentioned Victor Locken. Obviously, he mentioned all the other players before, and then he touched on the fact that with foreign players, it's kind of that after year 1 of playing in the U.S., that year 2, you have a lot of promise and a lot to look for. And I think we've heard that sentiment before, and all hopes, man, that Vic is continue to hit that work in the off season, and excited to see what the next step is for Big Vic.
Do you think he still feels like he's backpedaling a little bit after the shot he took at Cincinnati?
No, he's just
in the transition from the previous regime.
I don't know. I think it's more Wes. I think people just realize how good Wes is, and how much he's respected across the country, and how good the team honestly probably looks on paper right now. And with Wes at coach and everything like that. So I'm excited to see kind of what Vic brings as hopefully our birdies continue to get some more coverage on the open gyms if those do resume again. And then aside from that, if Vic Locken takes a huge step leading into next season, got a lot of promise.
We're not allowed. Sorry, guys, we're not allowed to joke about UCF anymore, and we're no longer allowed to do it's hard joke.
So shall it be written? So shall it be done?
Chat Karen Kathy has decided. So shall it be written? So shall it be done?
Okay. I agree. But yeah,
Aaron, don't you turn your screen off. You get back here. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what's going on this week. I know a lot of the TBT guys were getting in town today. So maybe catch some open runs with them. Hopefully they'll get a chance to get together and run some open gym with the team.
We should have Corey Blunt, Coriante DeBerry, Shaq Thomas, and I'm forgetting Octavius Ellis on Part of the Punctuation tomorrow night. So
yeah, so keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. I think I used pigeonholed incorrectly. He selected. He chose.
Okay.
There we go. I wanted to clarify that. But yeah,
Lambig, I did want to say thanks to everybody that chipped in for TBT. That goes to covering all of their travel expenses.
What's the current total at, Chad?
Right under 2,200, 21 something. It slowed down. If you'd like to donate, the Bearcat Journal, Venmo, and PayPal is still open. All you got to do is just send the money to Bearcat Journal. Every penny that comes in, I am donating to the TBT. And if you have a business that wants to match, like Danco did, hit me up for that as well.
Also, one of the ideas that we had for every win that TBT has, if you wanted to donate like $1 or something along that nature as they win games, that may go a long way as well.
Yeah. So good stuff. Thanks to everybody that got involved and chipped in.
TBT should be exciting. 1 week from today, right? Is 6 p.m. right? So that could be a tune into the TBT and then roll right into the pod.
I'll be in Augusta, Georgia.
Right.
Or North Augusta, South Carolina, if you want to be technical.
Completely technical.
Getting some peach jam.
There we go.
Action.
You gonna be doing the BBP from Georgia?
Georgia?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna have to leave. It starts the 17th, but
Georgia.
I think I'm gonna leave on the 17th, get down there that night, and then I'll be at the Peach Jam on the 18th.
We're on the ground in Georgia. Yeah, and then also this Saturday is the Xavier Cincinnati alumni game. So another thing to file away in all the upcoming. The Mio's Pizza.
Yeah, the Mio's Pizza fundraiser 30 minutes after the game.
The post-game fundraiser.
Yeah, so get yourself to Mio's.
Oh,
I was supposed to do a meeting with them today, but I got car dealerships, man. You think these people would treat you with some respect after you buy a car from them in hopes that you would be a lifelong customer? I had the guy at the service counter at the car dealership today. I went in. So I've been losing like 8 pounds of pressure a day in my tire. And I'm like, I've got
not
an
good,
issue
Bob.
I got an issue with my tire. That's why I'm here. And also I'm at 20,000 miles and I like to stay within the warranty, requirements.
All of the checks on the warranty.
Yeah. So like I'm at 20,000. So let's get those done. But I'm here because I got a problem with my tire. So I sit there for 2.5 hours, Brent, 2.5 hours. And the guy comes in and he's like, here's the $500 of work we did in relation to your requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I came here for the tire. What about the tire? And he's like, well, they didn't find anything wrong with your tire. I said, I woke up on Saturday and my tire had gone from 32 pounds of pressure to 16. There's something wrong with my fucking tire.
Yeah.
Oh, let me go back and take a look at that real quick. He comes back. He goes, oh yeah, there's a nail in your tire over by the sidewall.
It's not covered.
And we're gonna have to replace the tire. But that's not the problem, Aaron. Like that happens. Like, okay, I gotta get a tire. And then he comes back with, well, the guy said, you might as well just go ahead and replace all 4 tires.
Yeah.
I've had the car for a year. I don't even have 20,000 miles on the car.
Mm-hmm.
Tires are supposed to be good for like 6 years or 50,000 miles.
6 years.
6 years. I've had it for one.
We
Guys,
drive.
just go ahead and replace all 4.
We drive very differently. If I ever had a set of tires last 6 years.
Well, 50,000 miles is the minimum. Like 50,000 miles is when you're supposed to change your tires. He's trying to get me to change them at 20 after 1 year, with almost all of the mileage being AAU driving on the highway, going to, doing work for
Highway
you guys.
miles. Highway miles, yeah.
My tires are fine.
You took that car to Houston or to Dallas?
I took it to Dallas. I'm taking it to
Highway
Beach
miles.
Jam. I'm taking it to Atlanta. I'm taking it to Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
I should have gone to Danco. I should have.
The funniest thing is, though, I am such a sucker because I don't know much of anything about cars. So
I don't really either, but like I know tires last for more than a year.
right. Well, for me, I go into a place and I'm like, yo, the light's on. What's going on? And they could come back and tell me like I need a whole new engine, and I might be like, all right, fine.
You need to change your turn signal fluid.
Let's get a whole engine. No, but it's gotten to the point where I walk in and I tell the guy immediately, I'm like, yo, listen, I don't know anything about cars. Just please
don't ever say that.
Don't juke me. No, I become friends with him,
No, you're red flag.
You don't.
Your
no,
red
I
flag
do.
is selling him everything.
And then I go back to work and I talk to my car buddy and he said, okay, let's go back. And then I take him with me and then we talk to the guy. So
don't ever walk in and say, hey, I don't know anything about cars. Can somebody help me out?
You got to create a little relationship, man. I got to tell him I can help him. If you help me, I'll help you type thing. And then it
love
ends
it
up
when
working
Mike
out.
Bone makes an appearance.
Ends up working out. But
I don't know how Mike Bone made an appearance all the way from Manhattan Beach on this podcast. But
I don't know how to timestamp this other than Chad's had car issues.
Chad,
I got to go back tomorrow. They didn't even have the tires.
What was the whole point of the story though? Is it because you missed today this meeting with Mios? Let's go back to that.
Okay. Well, now I can't meet with them tomorrow either because they got to go get the tire. They're fucking up my business.
Yeah, So I'm gonna be honest with you. I went in because I had some tire leaking going on too, and they told me that I need all 4 tires new, and I said, all right, let's get all 4 new. So yes, I feel your pain, but to be completely honest with you, I have no idea how long I had the previous tires. But we'll move on.
You would know if you got them a year. Like if you got them last summer, you would know.
True.
That's $1,000 for new tires.
I don't think I got them last summer.
Easy come, easy go for this guy, Chad.
Yeah, he's so fucking rich.
Nah, quite the contrary. But anyway, another thing that Wes mentioned today on that interview with Rossi, like I said, it's pretty much all things we mentioned before. But another thing was the fact that Wes mentioned we have a lot of depth that we didn't have last season, and depth with length and the ability to play multiple positions defensively and offensively. So, Chad, you were on the circuit again. You were able to see one of those upcoming players that brings that similar length and an ability to play different positions and defend multiple positions. How would you wrap up the weekend that Rayvon Griffith had?
I like to keep it honest with you. I didn't think he had a great week. I thought he was okay. I thought he had flashes of like what he can do. I think Ray's really hard on himself. I think he allowed himself to get frustrated. Kathy, get out. Jesus Christ. It's a podcast. We talk about all kinds of things. Anyhow, I think he gets frustrated with himself when he's not at the top of his game. And I think that pressure kind of got to him a little bit this week. I think they did a good job resetting him. Like they sat him at the start of the game on Saturday, and then he came off the bench and was kind of recharged and was getting back to being himself and being aggressive. sometimes you just get in a little bit of a, you play that first game, and apparently he was okay in the first game of the weekend, but he wasn't knocking down his jump shot. Something that gets in your head. You start thinking about it. You start putting the pressure on yourself to be perfect. In the second game, he really struggled. I think he was he had 2 for 10, missed some threes. The only 2 baskets were 2 run-out transition dunks. And he sat there for a while, behind the bench after the game, just kind of staring off into the distance. You could tell he was really frustrated with himself.
Right.
But it's good to see him. You got to work through that, man. It's part of basketball. Not everything is going to click for you, especially in these settings, at all times. So to see him bounce back Saturday, like I heard that he did, I wasn't there. I was on the road back to Cincinnati. But it's good to see him kind of going through that maturation process.
So tell me if my thought process when it comes to Rayvon is little off schedule. I'm at the point where I've watched so many Rayvon highlights and I have read so many Rayvon stories to the point where I know what a good Rayvon is, and I know what the Bearcats are getting in Rayvon, to the point where when he has a great game, it's awesome. Yes, that's the Rayvon. But when he has a couple of off games or a tough night or whatnot, I don't necessarily dismiss it, but I don't let it change my viewpoint at all. Is that kind of in this point of his career, his OU career, where that's a little off base still, or is that?
No, I mean, I think that's fair. He's been on the national scene for so long, and I think he had kind of a pretty transformative spring where he was really consistent this spring and he was really good. I think it's gotten to the point with him that you know who he is, you know what his abilities are, so you don't necessarily panic if he has a couple off games.
Right.
The effort is still there. I just honestly, it felt almost like for a couple games this weekend, he wasn't having fun. Did you see that, Aaron? And he's a guy that I think thrives on playing with that smile on his face. Playing with a lot of joy. And it didn't feel like early this week that he was. And then he got back to it. And once he got back to it, guess what? He played better. It's amazing how that works, right?
Yeah. It really is.
I mean, we're going to touch on this a little bit later, but I mean, every game doesn't have to be the best game of their careers, right?
Every game's not going to be the best game of their career, right? This is bordering on our nightcap topic for tonight that I sent you yesterday.
Right.
I agree.
So I'm trying not to get too far in the weeds on it, but
I agree with it in some respects, and I disagree with it in some respects. The statement that was made. So catch the nightcap tonight, and we'll expand on that. Yeah. I did get a good look. I've seen Delquan Warren before. I did get a better eval on him this week. I get why the staff loves him. He is super competitive. That kid wants to win, his life depends on it. And I guess in a lot of ways for him, probably it does, right? He's visited campus. They have offered after watching him early this week. I know the staff loves him. I know Roberts and Wes are both really, really high on him. So we'll see as that kind of evolves. But, man, point guard in 2024 is there's a lot of dudes available at point guard in 2024 that I think it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously you mentioned one of them. The laundry list seems pretty far for the 2024, but
Sure.
One player that was pretty interesting that you had a slight mention that the word's floating out there that he might be able to reclassify to 2023. Don't want to put that completely stamp it.
That's secret. Don't
Circle of trust.
Shh.
Right?
Circle of trust. Shh.
Oh, okay. So
We don't want everybody to know that. We just shh.
well, whoever. Okay.
I'm joking. Calm
It's
down. It's fine.
It's a shtick, Brent.
I'm not talking about
Shtick.
Samchachukwa Cyril. I'm not talking about him. If I was talking about him, Chad, what could you say that his game?
He's large,
he
man.
His game.
He's large. He's a shot blocker. He's a rim runner. There's a reason he's number 21 in the 2024 composite. Very talented big man. They have some ties there. So that's a name to add to the board in 2024. And there is, some possibility that down the road, you could see him in the 2023 class if, he handles his business. But, 5-star big men are good. And I love Flory Badunga.
Yeah, that was the next name I was going to bring up.
Oh, my gosh. He's so good, man. I think I would have him number 1 in the class of 2024.
I think that's being tossed around out there, actually.
Defensively, he changes everything. I mean, if he doesn't block your shot, he changes it. Like if you get within 15 feet of the rim when you're playing against him, you are wondering where he's at all times. Like I honestly believe he's top 5 in that class, and he might not be 4-3-2. Like he can score. He's got touch with his right hand and his left hand on his hook shot. He has a bounce from flat-footed that you just don't see. Like his timing is unbelievable. I didn't see Paige this week, Sam. I will see him at Peach Jam. He plays on the Nike circuit. So there'll be a lot more next week. One, because I'm going to be there for like 5 days. There'll be 4 days. I think 4 days, whatever. But I'll have a lot more on Arlington Page next week. But I just, Flory, man. I said it. I told you the first time I saw him, Brent, when we talked about him.
Yep.
And it is, he's gotten, that's the scary thing about Flory Badunga.
Right.
Who is a 2024 big man. He's from Africa. He's playing in Kokomo, Indiana. He's only been playing basketball for a year. And every time you see him, he is significantly better than the last time you see him. And he is, when you talk about the African kids, the one thing that they almost always struggle with is feel for the game, right? Because they just haven't played the game their whole lives. So they're still learning the nuance and like how basketball works. This kid has picked it up as fast as anybody I've ever seen. Like, he looks like he's been playing his whole life. Mm-hmm. It's complicated in terms of his recruitment. We'll see how that plays out over the next 12 months or so when we get to this point next year. But my God, is he good? My God, is he good? Yeah.
I mean, he took Indiana high school basketball by storm this past season. He's only going to continue to sweep it up. I mean, he's matched up with Xavier Booker numerous times so far this summer. And
he's been better than Xavier Booker when they've matched up. And
right.
Xavier Booker is a top 5 player in the 2023 class.
Fourth in the 2023 class. So when you put up that type of game against that, then.
And he dominated NBA players camp. Like, number 1 in field goal percentage. It was on a large number of shots. They played 5 games. He had like 34 shots or whatever. He shot 70+% from the floor. He blocked shots. He rebounded. I mean, this kid is something. Like, it's not often I make a kid appointment viewing
right
when I'm on the road. Like, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going to watch that kid play And when I've got a chance, I'm going to watch Flory Badunga play because it is potentially like watching a unicorn.
There you go. And there's nothing more that NBA scouts, and now it's trickling heavily down to the college ranks. There's nothing that the coaches and scouts like more than the quote unquote unicorn. So Flory, definitely a name to look out for, one that's going to have a long list. But like you said, every recruitment has certain things here and there. And if you're able to figure those things out, then you could be right there in the forefront. So
Mike Roberts is key in this one because Mike Roberts is heavily connected in the state of Indiana, and Flory is playing his high school ball in the state of Indiana. Mike Roberts is connected to the right people in that recruitment. It's worth keeping an eye on.
And I can tell you that he's blowing up, obviously in the state of Indiana. So the Indiana college teams are coming around pretty quickly on him as well. So we'll see kind of how the chips fall, but definitely one to keep an eye on. Chad, I don't think you'd mentioned it this much if it was one that was just kind of a in one ear, out the other one. So keep an eye on that one. But aside from that, any further players that we need to just touch on real quick before we wrap this up and head to the mailbag?
Travis Perry is worth it.
Yeah.
6'1", point guard out of Lyon County, Kentucky. He's very talented. You always worry, like with those guys that are a little bit undersized, with their reputation as a shooter. Do they have enough athleticism, enough versatility in their game? I think it's going to be a challenge for him.
Right.
Handling some of that length at the next level, like it was when I watched him against a really good 16 and under Atlanta Celtics team. Those were the two best teams, I thought, in the 16 division at Adidas. And the Atlanta Celtics guards gave him some problems, but he still hit shots. He still made plays for his team. The hard part with Perry is he's playing on a team that his best role is playing off the ball, because they have another really good point guard, but that point guard doesn't have the same type of scoring punch that Perry has as a combo guard, right?
Right.
So they play the other kid at point guard, and Perry plays off the ball. So you didn't get to see a ton of him in terms of playing just strictly a point guard position.
Right.
So I think that's going to be interesting for him. Now, he took his high school team, which Lyon County is a very, very small rural high school in Kentucky, and took them on a run in the Sweet 16 at Rupp Arena. I think he said they hadn't made the Sweet 16 in like 70 years. So he's got that type of like star power to him. But when they, you're not playing a group of all-stars like you are on the AAU circuit that give you a better look at what things look like in the future. So he's definitely a high major guard. It's just a matter of making the read on what level. Kentucky has offered. He's from rural Kentucky. Now, he told me that, it's not an instant that just because Kentucky offered, he's going to go to Kentucky, but we'll see. Will Collier be healthy for the high school season? I believe so, but I'm not a doctor, nor did I stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So he is expected to, but I don't know the specifics of how his knee situation is recovering so far. So I don't have a specific answer for that, Sam. I think he will be. I don't think Cincinnati would mind if he sat out for a while, though.
Precisely. Anything else there? Wrap this one up.
No, I think we're good. Just with the basics on this weekend in Rock Hill, South Carolina. The summer stuff really frustrates me, Brent.
Right. Okay.
Because like Adidas, the tournament was over 5 days.
Right.
Right. The teams only play 5 games over those 5 days.
They aren't doing the 2 or 3 in one day anymore.
You're supposed to be allowed to have 2 games in a day.
Right.
But for whatever reason, the way Adidas did things, each team basically played one game a day. And at an AAU event, when you're there to like watch and see as many reps from a kid,
Right.
Get a kid on the court as much as you can to see what. I don't hate it from the kid's standpoint because I think like you play 7 or 8 games in a weekend, like your legs are pretty cooked. But from a evaluation standpoint, like, you get to see the kid one time a day, and then you're scrambling for other stuff to watch, which you get a lot of different looks, but I'd like to maybe mix it up and have like every other day you play 2 games, something like that.
That would probably work out for everyone in attendance.
It's selfish for me.
Well, but I think some of my buddies that used to be on the circuit, way back in the day, when it was multiple games in each day throughout a weekend, they kind of flipped a switch and that was their mindset heading into
it. They
it.
played 3 or 4 games a day,
right?
Like the way the rules used to be.
But that was their mindset going into it. They were like excited for it because they knew that was what it was going to be, and a quick turnaround where if you had a bad game, turn around, you can have a good one the very next game.
Well, like that Indy Elite 16 and under team, they were in like the top bracket. So they were playing a game at like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And then they weren't playing again until tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning.
That's just
like,
would not like that at all. Yeah.
No.
At all.
Now, then you've got a team of, 16-year-olds. They're high school sophomores going into their junior year. Mm-hmm. And you have to kill all day in Rock Hill, South Carolina with a bunch of 16-year-olds. Like, I'm sure they would much rather be at the gym.
Yeah.
Like playing.
Right. I completely agree. Aaron? I think 5 minutes is
can't
up.
Comment, so.
Timestamp basketball recruiting 147, roughly. There we go. What?
It's just been a weird episode.
Well, we're almost at the end of it, Aaron.
We are. It's mailbag time.
There we go.
All right. Can we have Mick on for a 2024 Guys to Watch pod? This is the football portion of the mailbag.
No.
Can you give away Can you give a way too early win-loss record for the Bearcats this season? I have the Cats 10-2 with a loss to Arkansas and Houston in the conference championship game.
It's hard. It's difficult to do without like fully breaking down each game and each situation. I think 10. Well, so you did this wrong, Bearcat fan 1986, because if you're adding the Houston game, that's game 13. So they would have to be 11-2 with a loss to Arkansas and Houston in the conference championship. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think, Arkansas, we know, is favored in that game by about a touchdown. That's where it's been. I think that's probably about right, playing at Arkansas, first game of the year.
If they go into Arkansas and upset, though, this whole season turns upside down, and all of a sudden, I think all of us are way more hype for the season to come.
Well, but then you get into this, Aaron. Think about how difficult last season the expectations were for this team, with a team full of veteran leaders that had been leading for a while, and you still hit that patch in the middle,
Navy,
where there were a couple games that
Tulane,
they had control, but could have gotten funky late and caused problems.
Yeah.
So, do they have the leadership in place if they win that Arkansas game to run out 12-0 again, and then play the conference championship game and deal with Houston? I don't know. Like I don't think we see this team go undefeated. They win Arkansas, it does change the narrative substantially, because I think we're all looking at that game and going, I mean, that's going to be
Tough.
really difficult for this team to go in to Fayetteville and beat an Arkansas team with an outstanding quarterback. And yeah, Arkansas lost a lot from last year as well, but they're at home. Like, everything points to Arkansas right now.
Right. If you want to be if you want to be taken seriously, though, as you know, people continue to say, SEC, you know, the AAC doesn't hold a candle to the SEC. We know that that's been the narrative for years and years and years. But if you want to be taken seriously, like, you go in, and even if you win by a point, I think that's a huge, huge, huge win.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting to see exactly like where that plays out, how that plays out with week one. But here's the other thing in terms of Houston. Do we really think Dana Holmgren is going to beat Luke Fickell?
It's a fantastic question.
I mean, I think they could be undefeated and be the home team, which would be the only way that I think they would have a fighting chance, is if Cincinnati did drop to Arkansas in week one. I don't think I mean, I'm wearing the rose-colored glasses still. I mean, I think if they beat Arkansas, they're winning out until and even in the AAC championship game, if it's at Houston.
In the way too early projections, Vegas has Arkansas favored by 7, and ESPN's Football Power Index has Arkansas favored 59.6% to Cincinnati's 40.4.
Which, like, you hear those numbers, and that's with a bona fide known starter at quarterback for Arkansas and a home field advantage against an unknown starter at quarterback.
Correct.
In a road team in Cincinnati. So
Luke Fickell's getting a lot of respect in that one.
Right. And so like you said, Vegas knows that's a very early projection.
Sure.
But I mean, Vegas is Vegas for a reason. So, I mean, read into that as you will. I think it's a very favorable line for the Bearcats at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with that, here's my question. Or here's my statement on that. If I'm picking right now, I'm probably saying Houston is the favorite going into the season, because they have the veteran quarterback that's played 1,000 games. Like, they're having their Dez situation with Clayton Tune in 2022. But that's looking at a Cincinnati program that, how different do they look 13 games later?
Right.
When a quarterback has established themselves. And now maybe they're not on even footing, but they're on a more even footing if Cincinnati is in the championship game and playing for a title. And now I have to answer the question, who do I pick to win a game? Luke Fickell or Dana Holgorsen? I'm always picking Luke Fickell.
Oh, easily.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Absolutely.
You guys want to hear something funny?
What's that?
Apparently, you know, we joked last year that we weren't there, that we weren't going to be invited to do the preseason thing again.
Yeah. Were you invited?
No, I don't think so. I guess Mo was talking today about sending in his picks for the media selection of teams, and I guess we were right, and that they weren't real happy with us picking names out of the hat last year.
There we go.
All right.
There we go. But also, Vegas has Cincinnati as the favorite in the AAC as of right now as well. So just another thing to to throw out there.
Yeah.
I mean, hard to pick against the team that finished in the playoff last year.
Sorry.
So that was the football portion of the mailbag. We have moved on to the basketball portion of the mailbag. Good Lord. I know there hasn't been much talk of the following in-state unsigned kids and UC, but with the transfer portal alive and well, I was wondering if the staff has communicated with any of these all-Ohio AAU kids. Also, where do you think each will end up? Devin Royal, Dalen Swain, Laurent Rice.
They have stayed in communication with Dalen Swain. I just don't know if they're going to take another wing. They have at times talked about him as a point guard. So if things fall through with Collier, like maybe you could see an emphasis put back on Swain at that point in time. He's young though, man. Like he's either 16 or just turned 17. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be talking about a young kid coming in on a team that might not potentially have like a veteran point guard. So I don't want to talk poorly about kids. I don't think how do I say this properly? I don't think Laurent Rice is a high major point guard. And he's really good in the open court. I think he has some positives, but I don't see him as like at this point, from what I've seen from him, I don't see him as a guy that's going to run a high major program at point guard.
Does he need to be a point guard, do you think, at the next level?
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of scoring pop in the half court. Mm. Like he's a guy that the ball needs to be in his hands. But I'm not as high on him as a lot of people are. I think that has played out over the spring and summer. Okay. Devin Royal's outstanding. I think Cincinnati went with Ray as their pick of wings in this 2023 class. Michigan State and Ohio State seem to have the most juice there, which that's going to be an uphill battle to win either way. I know Xavier is fighting very hard in that one as well. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be one of those kids that is a really, really good college player. He's a little undersized. I don't know what his future is as like an NBA prospect, but I think he's going to be a kid that is excellent at the collegiate level.
All right.
Real Big Lamb Big did say any worries about keeping the home game winning streak alive. I don't see any tough.
Who's going to beat Cincinnati in the?
Yeah, I don't see any tough home games for Cincy. So
IPF renderings coming soon. Sam, I have no idea. I've heard they're coming soon for a while, and we don't have them yet. So, sure. I think they're coming soon, but I don't know when. I have no clue on when.
Okay. If Utah joins the Big 12, what is your over-under on combined Mike Saunders, Gabe Madsen points for their Shoemaker revenge game in 24-25? I would set the over-under at 10.
I'll take
combined.
8. Yeah, 8. I'll go
8. 13.
Always the optimist.
I mean, they're going to be the leading scorers on the team at that point.
Disagree. One of Chad's favorite
the better players on the team, if you will. Starters.
Sorry, I don't know Utah's roster, but I just know what I've seen. One of Chad's favorite questions this time of year: any indication when the non-conference schedule will be finalized and released?
No. August, September, sometime in there.
And have you heard any rumors on what the 23 MTE will be?
No.
With Finney and DeJulius and Zikpe and Nolly with years of D1 experience, how does West balance playing time for 7 to 8 other guys? Will there be a stylistic change with 90 feet of fast-paced, full-court pressure and frequent subbing, or will things settle in by conference season to the usual 8 to 9 man rotation?
Well, he played 10, 11 guys pretty much throughout the entire year last year, and they didn't press. I think if this West wants to press. If this team can press, he will press. If not, then they'll still play 10, 11, 12 guys. Like that's who he is. That's who he's wanted to be. He has talked about he wants to have guys in the 27, 28 minute range. He doesn't like pushing guys up 32, 35 minutes. Doesn't feel that they're fresh. So I think you'll still see a lot of guys playing. But time will tell on that. I think Mike Adams-Woods is going to have something to say about the point guard position. I think he's having, from what I've heard, a really good summer. From what I've seen, a really good summer. DeJulius and Nolly are going to play a lot. Ezekpe, that's going to be interesting how the big man stuff shakes out, because there's just a lot of unknown, in terms of not only what happens at the 5, but the logjam of guys that are capable of playing the 4. Because if Ezekpe gets shut out of minutes at the 4, right? Like, let's say JD plays the 4, Hensley takes a jump, Nolly can play some 4, Reed.
Vic.
Then Vic's not going to play the 4 this year.
Okay.
I would be surprised if Vic plays it. The reason Vic played some 4 last year,
Ado and Cobal.
Yeah, like those guys were eating the minutes, most of the minutes at the 5. They're gone. Vic's going to be a 5 this year. I don't see him playing a whole lot of minutes at the 4, if any. Now, Aaron, I thought Vic and Odie played pretty well together when they were on the floor together last year. But Odie played more of the 5 and Vic played the 4 in those situations. So maybe there's some stuff like that. I'm not saying Vic is out at the 4.
Yeah, just some switches.
Yeah, I'm saying a majority of his minutes will probably be at the 5. How do you balance the 7 or 8 guys? You tell them, go win a job. Go get it done in practice. And show that we can't keep you off the floor.
Iron sharpens iron there, too. Pretty crazy. Very, very deep. Very deep.
FE squared. First off, thanks for great content. My question is with all the conference realignment, could the basketball-only conferences be in trouble if there ends up being 4 super conferences? I could see them signing conference challenge deals and 20-game schedules, which crush the basketball-only conferences. What are your thoughts?
There's definitely a potential that like buy games are in trouble, and buy games are what support these smaller basketball only leagues. The other thing I will say though, it is not crazy expensive like it is in football to run a basketball program. You can run a basketball program now. You're going to struggle, but you can run a basketball program on a couple million. But they're not getting any money from their TV deals. And if you take away a couple of those buy games a year, that makes the margin really thin. Like that makes the cut line really thin for some of these smaller, like basketball only leagues. The Big East in this scenario is fascinating to me because they should still be able to be viable at what I think the new Big East deal has them at $7 or $8 million a year per school. Yeah. They still should be able to remain viable at that number. But man, like if you're talking the SEC and Big Ten have $100 million a year where they can just choke off $25 million.
Right.
That's our basketball. Like this $25 million is to keep basketball afloat. That's 3.5 times the money that the Big East is making. And how much weight does the Big East carry if Villanova slides a little bit? And isn't Jay Wright Villanova? Like, the Big East name is always going to carry weight, especially in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
But the money is going to be significantly lower than the elite teams that they're competing with, and the exposure is not going to be the same. And you don't have that like alpha that's carrying the conference if Villanova slips a little bit. Does somebody step up into that? But even if somebody like kind of steps up into that, we're talking about Villanova was just winning titles like every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Is there a Big East team that's going to do that? So the money aspect in the Big East, the commitment aspect in the Big East is really interesting because they know they're playing with a disadvantage. They played with that disadvantage, when they decided that they were going to be a basketball-only conference. If you don't have football, you're not driving the massive revenues, but you're also not spending the massive amount that it takes to run a football program.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be done, but I really want to see like 2, 3, 4 years from now if they continue, because let's face it, that conference has struggled in the tournament if your name's not Villanova since the new Big East was formed. If they continue to see a bunch of first and second round exits, and Creighton can't get over the hump and Providence can't get over the hump and Seton Hall with Shaheen Holloway, continues to struggle to get over the hump. Like
Marquette.
Marquette. Marquette's got every resource in the world.
Yeah.
Like that school is all fucking in on basketball.
Yep.
And they haven't been able to get over the hump. I'm not a big Shaka guy. So we'll see. It's fascinating. But the mid-majors, I don't think it changes a ton. But it does need to be like duly noted that they use a lot of that money that they get to cover their expenses. And if the buy games drop and they drop, a couple of those $120,000 buy games, then their books get a little crooked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, UConn has so much confidence in the Big East that they are recruiting football saying that they're going to be in the ACC in a couple of years. So there it is. And then we have the last portion of the mailbag, which is the
banks, baby.
The banks here.
The visit banks.
Skins, fancy meeting you gents here, commencing rapid fire. Who has the better mustache, Sam Elliott or Brady? It was always Sam Elliott, but Brady no longer has the mustache.
So that's an easy answer.
Kind of a moot point.
Right.
Buffet, yay or nay?
Does it say buffet or buffet?
It says buffet, but I think we're going buffet.
We're going.
We can do both.
Let's do both.
We can do both.
I like both. How about you? Buffet, yay or nay?
Post-COVID, I don't know that I want to eat in a buffet. I think it just made me question everything. Not that I'm completely out here scared of COVID or anything these days, but
right.
I don't know how I feel about just everyone going into a free-for-all on a buffet. I think I'd just rather order what I want to order, and if I want other things, then I'll order other things.
I think there's been a shift. Like if you look at Vegas, like they've shifted the buffet game to cater to like the COVID. Like they have people taking care of handing you the flight, so one person is in charge of it, so everybody just doesn't have their grubby paws in there. I got violent food poisoning from a Golden Corral one time.
I don't know if the Golden Corral survived the.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
I don't know if they're still around. I have not driven past an open Golden Corral since COVID.
But just buffet in general.
Yeah.
Buffets are generally pretty low end. Like if you give me a Vegas high end buffet, I'll take that. But a buffet you're going to find in Cincinnati, not fan.
Buffet, yay or nay, Brent?
Well, buffet, yay for me.
Okay.
But like you said, Chad, I'm not going to a Golden Corral. There's a place called The Journey. Very good in Indy. It's a good buffet. And pizza buffet, I'm okay with that as well. Buffet.
Pizza buffet.
Pizza buffet, that's its own category, right?
Pizza Hut buffet was the best thing about Pizza Hut in dining Pizza Hut.
Yeah, yeah. I get myself a big old salad and then like 8 pieces of pizza. So I'm telling myself I'm eating healthy, but then I'm like slamming pizza down too. So
pizza buffets, I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And then Buffett, hell yeah, great concert, unbelievable. I once fell asleep and I woke up and there was a bunch of like McDonald's wrappers all over the place at my buddy's house. I was like, what the hell happened last night? He's like, well, you literally bought like every single thing on the menu at McDonald's after the Buffett concert. And I was like, all right, fair. So Buffett concert, yes. Buffett, yay.
So my grandfather owned this is gonna be a quick story, but my grandfather owned a Dairy Queen in the Keys, and a man walks into his Dairy Queen and has a parrot on his shoulder, and my grandpa says, "Sir, you can't have that parrot in my restaurant." And the guy says, "Do you even know who I am?" And at this point, my grandfather's upset because it violates all of the health codes having an animal in the restaurant
Right.
at that point in time. And my grandfather's like, I don't care who you are. Get the hell out of my restaurant and take that bird with you. And he kicked Jimmy Buffett out of his Dairy Queen.
It was 5
So,
o'clock. It was 5 o'clock down there, probably. Yeah.
So I'm a side with my grandfather and say no go on Jimmy Buffett.
Oh man.
So I don't mind Buffett music. I used to, back in my radio promotion days, I used to have to work the Buffett concert every year.
Mm-hmm.
And when you work a concert for a radio station at Riverbend, once you pull inside the gates, you cannot leave until the last person has left.
Oh, and they're just camping out.
Well, until they exit the front gates, like where you show your ticket, whatever.
Okay. So the venue itself. Okay.
So then you couldn't get out of the parking lot for an hour and a half.
Yep.
Because everybody got to leave before you. So that put me out on Buffett. Now, I will say there was one time, and this is a long time ago, that there was I was in my mid-20s, and there was a woman that would probably identify as a cougar at that point in time that came up to us as we were breaking down the tent and putting the tent back in the van. And she informed me that if I could get her backstage, she would take me in the back of the van and do unspeakable things to me.
Zach Wilson would have been all in.
And I was like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but I do not have the power to get you backstage because I'm 25 years old and I work in promotions at a radio station.
Damn.
But if you want to go into the back of the van anyway, that guy, that was the guy right there. That was the guy that she offered to take me in the back of the van and do unspeakable things to me.
I'll make it happen. Just wait right here. Don't worry. Yeah. I mean, come Monday, it'll be all right. I like Buffett. Reminds me of the beach.
Brent, Duncan or Tim Hortons?
Duncan. I've been to Tim Hortons enough. Yeah.
Duncan's sausage, egg, and cheese croissant is phenomenal.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good.
All right.
Keep it out.
Zach Jones says, with my subscription to Bearcat Journal, I now get Paramount Plus for free. Thanks, boys. I've been watching a ton of Bar Rescue on it before bed. So here's my question to y'all. Worst bar you've ever been to in your life? Could be for any reason, like it being dirty, full of jerks, etc. Worst bar ever.
I tend to block the bad stuff from my brain. Like I don't
Same.
dwell on the bad. I'm sure there's been a million that I've been like, this ain't really my scene.
I think there's something about the bad bars that always makes them good, though, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
The hole in the walls that have like the random money.
Well, that depends on what you're calling bad, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I love the hole in the walls. I don't consider those bad. Like,
look, as long as they have cold beer, I've always found
Right.
something to be okay with at a bar. Like,
Give me a cold drink and some good people, I'll be fine.
So I'll go with one just because, like, it stunk. Like the smell of like vomit and urine at the old Blue Note was awful. And I had to work there every Thursday night. there was a band that played there every Thursday night named Denial. And one of the members of Denial worked at the radio station I was working at the time. So it was like me and Jimmy the Weasel every Thursday night at the Blue Note. It smelled so bad that it just was like it made you dread. Now we had a lot of fun, but that place needed to go. They needed a new institution for that, which I guess they have now in Hamilton. Like there's a new Blue Note.
Huh. There was a place in Milford back in the day that we would go to as a family. We called it the Pink Flamingo. I don't know if that's the name of it or not, but we would get home and I mean we loved it. There was nothing wrong with the bar itself, but when we got home, my parents would make us all just like strip down because our clothes would just reek of cigarettes, and they'd wash our clothes immediately, and we'd all go just take a shower and change. So
you had to take a shower and change at the end of the night.
Yeah.
That's after a night of drinking?
No, I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
We were all kids.
I guess if I had to pick one, what was that one that was on the barge?
Oh yeah.
That one was awful.
The hippopotamus watering hole?
I don't know. What was the name of it?
The one that would bring you across the water from Newport?
No,
No. The one that we had to walk.
Landing.
Yeah, you had to walk across a bridge. I can't remember the name of it.
The one that started drifting away, and what's his face saved it?
No, not that one either.
Collinsworth saved it from
I
drifting
don't
away.
think that was it. I don't know. It was awful. It's of no matter. I guess that was it for me. And then to finish it up, how many Texas Roadhouse rolls could you eat in an hour?
At least I'd go with Brady. At least I could do 12.
I say 10.
I could do 12.
I'm going 10.
Like 3 baskets. I think I could do 3 baskets. As long as you got the butter to like change up the taste.
Right.
Like I could probably do 12.
Hour's a long time. Keep the water rolling. I think I could do it. 15 to 20.
I think whatever you get in your first half hour is going to cash you out because those are good but filling.
Yeah,
but they're going to expand. Like once they're in your gut, they're going to totally expand.
And go ahead.
I think there was a video. Someone because I looked it up real quick. Someone set a record for most Texas Roadhouse rolls eaten, and then the waitress had to cut them off or something like that. It was like a college video type thing, like how to eat on a budget and just go to Texas Roadhouse and get drinks and endless rolls. So it's a way to go. It's a way to do it.
That's the mailbag. Last question I see though in the chat. Did we touch on the SEC shorts?
It was funny. They're always funny. Those people are good.
Yeah.
They gave Cincinnati their proper respect since they were holding auditions for the SEC.
Yep.
And he was like, we've been in the playoff more recently than 11 SEC schools.
More times
than 11 SEC schools, so we should get in. And
the Duke one was the best.
Yeah, the Duke one was funny.
I literally have Vanderbilt sitting right next to me.
We have you. You're right here.
Hilarious.
Those guys do great work with that. So I always get a kick out of them.
And I thought the tweet, the meme was funny on Friday. What was it? The Toy Story one. It's like, Buzz, you're passing the Big 12. And it's like, we're not going for the Big 12.
Right.
I thought it was hilarious.
That was good. It was good.
Always. Well, I'm sure there'll be plenty more on that front leading up until to next week. But anything else out of you guys? Any nuggets? Anything fun? If someone stayed around for another marathon edition?
I got nothing. We got the nightcap coming up where we're going to talk a little bit about just our kids
overblown expectations.
Our kids being over recruited. Yeah. Over-evaluated. Right.
Okay.
And then again tomorrow night we have Coriante DeBerry, Corey Blunt, Shaq Thomas, and Octavius Ellis from TBT joining us at 9:15.
There we go. Chad, anything else?
I'm working on something for Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know if it's concrete yet, but I'm working on something.
There we go. So keep tuned, baby. And let's hope if all things go well, I don't know, maybe we can fire up the oven and they'll open up the fridge if all things go well.
See,
But
Friday, Saturday, somewhere in there.
we'll see. We'll see. But aside from that, guys, hey, a huge thanks to Danco Transmission. One final shout out as well to our man, Brady Collins. Huge thanks to him for coming on as well. But for my buddies, my BBP comrades, Aaron Smith and Chad Brendel, I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!